Oh, thanks so much, Danielle, for joining today. How are you? And
No problem.
could you give a little quick introduction to the listeners here on who you are? So you're an author, speaker, and podcaster, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me today, Claire. My name is Danielle Brazant. I'm a speaker, writer, and presenter. I'm also a leadership expert. I just speak and travel across the United States. Currently, I'm looking into speaking engagements, hopefully in the coming years in the UK. And this is my first UK Irish podcast appearance. So I'm excited about that.
Oh,
And yes,
lovely.
I speak. My speaking topics, my focus is overcoming adversity, health and wellness, finding success, and inspiration. So I fit nicely within to what you're trying to do. I heard with your podcast, and thank
Yeah.
you for having me today.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on. Well, your career is on the road, inspiring others and telling. So, do talks on like leadership, or is it like is it like the mix of like adversities and everything? Do you have a theme? Could you share a little more on that?
So, so right now I work with myself and by myself and for myself, the best type of work. And I speak basically, my clients who hire me to speak tell me what they're looking for. And as a writer, I can fairly quickly write a speech or presentation to fit within the guidelines that my clients ask for. But I
Wow.
try to focus these four areas I mentioned earlier. And just about my personal story, it starts in 2012. That
Wow.
year, I was in a near fatal car accident. I
Oh
suffered a
goodness.
traumatic brain injury.
Oh, I'm so
I suffered
sorry.
a traumatic brain injury and was unconscious for over 2 weeks.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I almost lost my life. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Before
my.
they put me in the ambulance, they had to give me CPR to restore oxygen to my unconscious brain before I could even be put in the ambulance. So I had two near death experiences that day. And from that and overcoming from that, and we can go more into specifics if you're looking for that as you ask me questions throughout this interview as you ask me the questions. But from that experience and from that process of just rebuilding my life, I just
Wow.
learned what it takes for anyone. And I discovered, and I write this in my book, that life is a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. And it starts with achieving a goal. And then once you achieve a goal, you find your passion. And after you find that passion, you discover your dream and you chase those dreams for the rest of your life. And it will be a fulfilling, satisfying life that will lead to true happiness because you'll be doing what you were always meant to be doing. And sometimes it takes adversity and overcoming those challenges and adversities in life to put you on the path of doing what you were always meant to do. And that's how I feel it happened for me because I feel I was always meant to be a speaker. I love talking. I love people. I love inspiring people. I love getting the chance to do what I'm doing today and speaking and traveling across the country and now the world. And it's just,
Wow.
I never would have been able to do this had it not been for that car accident and had it not been for almost losing my life. So that was my adversity, but everybody has something in their life that they have to overcome. And
Mm.
that process of overcoming it will make you who you were always meant to be.
Wow. That's incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, thank
Wow.
you.
Wow. Um, wow. To overcome that, like you completely thrived through that adversity, that's incredible. Um, what were you doing similar kind of work before the accident, or did that completely transform? Or how did that
It
happen?
completely transformed my life because I had my accident the last year, my last year of college. I was a little bit older when I entered university. So I had just turned 24 and I was about to study for my bachelor's and my goal was to become a corporate buyer. for Sam's
Wow.
Club Corporation and just climbed the corporate ladder. I wanted to make $100,000 by the time I earned 30. By the time I turned 30, I told people I wanted to make six figures and I was gonna climb the corporate ladder. I was very driven. I'm still very driven, but that drive that I had was more focused on my own success. Wasn't about inspiring others. I always cared about the world. I was involved in a lot of nonprofits and stuff throughout college, but most of my drive was focused on just advancing myself and my own career versus now it's just I advance myself and my own business, my own speaking. I can only do that by inspiring other people. So it's totally done a 360. My whole existence is about other people and who I can help, who I can share, who I can inspire.
Wow.
And I'm so grateful for that. My life is just so beautiful, so fulfilling now. And it's only this way because of that event, that accident, because being a climbing the corporate ladder, getting involved in that corporate rat race, it's not a satisfying life. You may make a lot of money, but it's very labor intensive, it's very stressful. And I'm glad I just never did it. I never got the chance to do it. And I'm glad I never could do it because of the events. But I almost lost my life once again. But
Wow.
now on the back end of it, it's a blessing. Now that I've overcome everything and gotten to this place in my life, I view my accident and my traumatic brain injury as a blessing.
Wow. That's incredible. You just reminded me of something that I've come across recently in that, like, I don't know how you feel about this, but the Western society, I think, a lot of people can kind of get caught in that, that career ladder, and it's kind of in a self-serving way,
Yeah.
and probably a very isolating way. But the what when I was actually hearing this point is that to find happiness, we need to be giving back, we need to be connected and
Yes.
things like
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
it's incredible because it finds that you've completely transformed that and you found a way to be successful as well as giving back to the world and inspire others to make changes. And yeah, that's amazing.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. I think the 21st century has become a very self-serving
Mm,
century where our success has been measured and seems to be measured by just how far we can get ourselves in life and not how far as it should be that we can get others as well as ourselves, because success is a village, just like the famous book by Hillary Clinton, like It Takes a Village. You're talking about child rearing and parenting and how it takes the whole community to raise a child, because you have the parents, but you also have the teachers and you also have the aunts and the uncles and
yeah,
the mentors. It's just it takes a village
it
for
does.
to raise a child. But the same way, if you look at raising a child, it's the same thing applies to success. To be truly successful, it also takes a village. Like, you just don't want to be successful yourself. You want your significant other to also have success. You want your family members to also be success. You want your coworkers to experience success, because your success will be far more fulfilling if you're achieving success while in the midst of other successful people. You don't
Yeah.
want to be the only person who's successful. That's not success. And that's very isolating. It can like alienate you from others. It can be very lonely. But if
Mm,
you try to encourage success in those around you, as well as get it for yourself, your life is beautiful. And that's what I've tried to do. And like my boyfriend I've gotten him since he's met me, like he has a new career, is making like doubled his income, has another career, is more satisfying. My brother is also has another career, is makes six figures. He's experiencing a lot of success, and so on and so on. So I try to encourage that, and I still have a day job and I work in sales, and I have several coworkers I'm trying to push to get to the next level in
wow.
their careers, and I'm like, I just, and life is more satisfying because I do that to those around me.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that in your energy. I think I can imagine everyone around you is just being lifted in your presence,
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. So after your
I love
accident,
it.
what was the first thing you did?
After my car accident, like the day after, it's just I was just focused on my own misery. I'm gonna be honest. I
Yeah.
felt sorry for myself and I thought my
Yes.
life was over. And it was the loved one, the love of others. My father, my late father, he passed away in 2020.
Oh, I'm
He
sorry.
pushed me. He's like, if you don't at least try to achieve your dreams again, because you're still the same person. And the only excuse you have for not trying anymore is the fact that you feel sorry for yourself. But if you don't at least try to see what you still can achieve, you don't even deserve to be happy. You once had all these dreams and you refuse to chase them anymore because you feel sorry for yourself, but you still have to try. There's never an excuse not to try, to just see
Mm.
what you're still capable of. And that's what my father told me. I had tears in my eyes, and because I was telling my father how I was unhappy. And he's like, you don't even deserve to be happy. You feel sorry for yourself. You're not trying to
Oh,
achieve anything anymore. And it was very difficult for me to hear that. But eventually, after a very painful, wasn't overnight, but after a very painful process, I came back to those words by my father. I came back to those words after my brother actually helped me just find a job again and get back into the workforce. And I had something tangible. I had income coming in. So once I achieved that goal of just getting back into the workforce and just having income again, I started to think about what I wanted my life to become. And I came back to my father's words. And that's when I began chasing my dreams again. And 10 years ago, I decided I wanted to be a speaker. And it was a very long process because I just learned the steps that it took to become a speaker. And they're like, you have to write a book. And so I wrote the book and I self-published in 2018. And then I launched my website in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic because I was excited about the growth of stuff like we're doing, podcasting and virtual speaking opportunities. And I'm like, oh, I can just put a studio in my home and I don't have to go
wow.
anywhere. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And yeah, so this is about 10 years later. 2023 has been my best year yet, and I'm starting to take off. But I
Wow.
made the decision 10 years ago and I just stuck to it. I knew I wanted to be a speaker. I knew I wanted to do this one day. And I learned what it took to do it. And I just stayed focused on that goal.
Wow. Did you like how far back was it that you wanted to be a speaker? Was it like something you always wanted to do, or did that come
It
later?
It
Sorry.
is what I decided I wanted to do right after my accident
Yeah.
because the corporate ladder and making $100,000 a year, that was done. I had no interest in that after I had just died and just left a hospital bed for months and had to relearn how to walk and read and choose all the
Wow.
food. After going through all of that, I had no longer had a self-serving focus of life. I just wanted to do something where I could help others with my story because I'm still the same person. I still have the same qualities. I always have been outgoing. I've always liked to talk. That was before the accident. But instead of just talking about myself or talking to further my own career and my own income, I just wanted to talk, but I wanted to do it in a way that could help other people because I wanted to tell people what had happened to me and what I had learned about it and how it had made me stronger and what I learned about life because of the experiences that I had been through.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So you're an author as well. What is your book
Mhm.
about? Could you tell me about
So
that?
my book is called Maxim. Yeah, my book is called, and I my due diligence. I will send you right after we get off this podcast. I will send you the PDF copy of my book. I normally send that beforehand, but like I've just been so busy, I just slipped my mind. So I
That's
will get
okay.
you the PDF of my book. And my
Oh,
book is called Maximizing Your Potential: How to Start the Journey Towards True Happiness in Life. I self-published in 2018 and it's available for sale on Amazon.com. And it's
Okay.
about everything we just talked about. It's about how you start the journey towards true happiness in life. And happiness is that journey. It's the journey of self-discovery. You have to fully understand yourself. And then you have to, once you understand yourself, from there, you decide what you want to do and what you want to become in the world.
Wow.
And chasing that dream of making yourself who you want to become, it's a very satisfying, fulfilling journey. Like you don't necessarily have to achieve that ultimate goal that you're aiming for, that star you're shooting for in your lifetime. Just the process of chasing it
Mm.
and trying to become it is beautiful and will make you happy. And that's the whole point of my book. Just that process and just that chase, just going after your dream. If that is happiness, that is in itself fulfilling and satisfying. Like you don't have everybody's focused on the end result.
Mm.
You don't
Okay.
necessarily have to get to that ultimate destination. Just going there, just the
Yeah.
process of getting there is in of itself just beautiful.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And like, even as I say, even if you do get there, then you're going to want something else because it is always about the journey. Yeah,
Exactly. It's always about the chase. The chase.
yeah,
It's always about the chase.
yeah. So do you know the speaker Les Brown? Have you listened to some of his talks?
Yes.
He's one of my
Yes,
favorites.
ma'am.
Yeah, you might
Yes. He's
remember.
very inspirational. I think of his famous quote, shoot for the moon and then
Yeah,
land amongst the stars. Yes, that's his
that's
famous
yeah,
quote. And yet he's very inspirational. That's why he has found success. It's because everybody wants a little inspiration in their lives.
they
And
do.
yeah, so I speak to anybody that basically my main speaking audience right now. I spoke for the Minnesota Brain Injury Alliance conference and I spoke to the Midwest Tax Assessors Conference. It's just basically these conferences and these organizations that are looking for a speaker. They just tell me what they're looking for, or they just put the list out of what they're looking for in a speaker. And I write my speaking proposals based on my clients' needs. So it's not a one size fits all approach.
Mhm.
Kind of like Les Brown, I feel like he only speaks about inspiration and overcoming adversity. I will talk about anything because I tap into those writing skills, but in the process of talking about whatever topic I'm talking about, I'll always put some inspiration. You can always inspire people no matter what you're talking about, and that's what I've learned, and that's what I do. So I'll
Wow.
speak to a wider variety of audiences, I think, than Les Brown. I'm not solely inspiration, but you can always inspire no matter what you're talking about if you know what you're doing.
For sure. Yeah. Because it's a force within you, right?
Yeah.
It's that's where the magic is, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. So you've been doing talks all over the US, you were saying, is it? Or have you done and I know you're coming to UK and the UK and Ireland area soon, is it?
Well, with your podcast, I have applied to a couple of UK conferences. One
Okay.
reached out to me and then it wasn't able to happen. So I'm not going to the UK. I thought I would be there for a Anglican like church conference this winter, and I'm not able to make it. I think the conference got canceled or whatnot, so that's not going to happen. So I just opened my eyes to all the speaking opportunities in the UK. So I did submit to a couple other UK events, but they're virtual. So the two I applied to are just virtual, so I won't have to fly there, but maybe one day. I have no doubt one day. I have cousins. My dad was raised under British colonialism, so he grew up in the West Indies and the Caribbean under British colonialism. So I have cousins who are in the UK in London. So I will get there. It's gonna happen. It was meant to be. I'll
Yeah.
get there one day, but I don't know when yet because the two conferences I applied to are virtual. They're both virtual, so I can just stay back here and and talk.
Lovely, lovely. But yeah, your voice is here now, so it's all out there in the universe, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So in some of the talks that you've done, I actually, I'm trying to think, I don't know if I've been to like a conference like that before, but I have definitely watched some clips and things like that. Like, and I know that I don't know if there's a sense of like the audience coming to you and things like that afterwards and stuff like that. But I'm curious to know on when you're doing a talk, you're obviously inspiring a lot of people to make changes in their lives and things like that. Do you have any like memorable stories of somebody that's like approached you to tell you like, you know,
Yeah,
the impact that, you know, you've had?
exactly. Yeah, I that was probably this spring when I gave my biggest speech to date. It was the opening day keynote at the Midwest Brain Injury Alliance conference where they had me tell my life story of overcoming traumatic brain injury. And after the speech, I did a book signing. And just people just all came up to me and said, "Oh, we love that you were so inspiring." And then this lady, she's like, "I have a daughter who had a traumatic brain injury and she's just not doing well. And I want your book and I'm going to give her your book and tell her about your story. It's going to inspire her and stuff like, yeah, that really touched me. That really touched me. And for an event like that, where you're giving the keynote, so you're talking about your story in order to inspire other people. Most of the time, what they'll have you do is a meet and greet and a book signing with the audience afterwards. And then people just come up to you and tell you why they want to buy your book because how your story has touched them and how they want to share it. And that's usually the process at events and conferences like that. And it's always nice. I love talking and I love talking to people and I love hearing people's story. Everyone has a story. Nobody's story is more powerful. Not my own, like I had traumatic brain injury and near death, car accident, but everybody has something in their own life that they have to overcome. And most of the time, people don't get the chance to tell other people. So you just don't know what other people have been through. But everybody has something. Everybody has something. Everybody has a story.
Everybody, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's amazing the choices that we have when we meet those challenges in life, you know, because it can be very easy to kind of, you know,
Yeah.
to fall and to be sad and to be upset and all those things that, you know, are completely fine. But it is wonderful to know that you can step back up
Get
and,
back
you
up.
know,
Get back up.
overcome it, you know. It's beautiful.
Yes. Just some of the most amazing people throughout history had to face obstacles that just we couldn't even imagine nowadays. Like it would be unfathomable for us to even think about just overcoming things like people like Harriet Tubman, born a slave, and Walt Disney was born penniless, never had a full meal
Yeah.
until he was like almost 40 years old. And then he died the fifth richest person on earth. And Harriet Tubman died a national hero, having been born a slave. It's just to think what they had to overcome and still achieve greatness
Yeah.
just tells us that we have no excuse nowadays. I know life is painful. Everybody has a struggle, has an adversity, but we have no excuse. If you're born in the 21st century, there is no excuse for you just to not, like my father told me, there's no excuse to not at least try. And
Yeah.
if you're passionate enough and you know what you're doing and you have that drive, if you try and you try hard enough, you'll achieve what you're looking to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really wonderful advice that your father gave you. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do need that the cruel to be kind approach.
Yeah, it's a tough love. Tough
Yeah, tough
love.
love. Yeah, 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 exactly. Exactly. That's incredible. That's incredible. And we do need that sometimes. Yeah. I was struggling as well with the decision that I was talking to my father about only last year. And he actually passed away as well in last
Oh,
Christmas.
my
Yeah.
condolences.
Thank you.
My
Thank you.
father passed away in 2020.
Yeah, you mentioned so it's still very raw for you as well, isn't it? Like it's very recent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
sad. So
yeah,
sad.
yeah, yeah. It is losing a core part of ourselves, you know, and I suppose we have to, I don't know, grow up very quickly, I guess. Um,
Yes.
yeah. And my father said when I was, I was going through struggles as well. And he said, well, if you don't try, you'll never know. And,
Yes,
how
yes,
true is that,
yes. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
And when things happen to us in life, I think you really learn the truth of that, like, when you learn about, or how short life can be, like, and like that, if we have to make the most of it in the times that we're here, we've nothing to lose.
Yes, you have to savor every moment and dance under the light when it's your turn under the stars. I heard
Yeah,
I heard that from somebody. This thought it's just beautiful.
that's
Yes.
stunning. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And as a person who almost lost my life is even more of a
Mm.
gift. I know every day what a gift life is, and I'm just determined to savor it. I will not. I didn't go through all of that pain and all that struggle just to come back and be unhappy. No, I am determined to just not be happy, but to savor my life. And that's what
Wow.
I'm truly doing right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you've got like this like deep sense of gratitude every day,
Yes.
that's completely sincere. It's
Yes, I understand what a gift, how fragile life is, and what a gift. What a gift it is. It is what you make of it.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just goes to show like how important our perceptions are, right? And seeing how wonderful it is even just to watch the sunrise coming up every day and those little things,
Beautiful.
and yeah, it's incredible. So in all the amazing things that you've done in your career in the last number of years, like what's been the most surprising thing to you?
The most surprising, I would say that's a very good question. For me, the most surprising and something that I realized I had to work on is just even though I knew what I wanted to do, even though I had the drive and the passion and the vision, I still needed to grow in a couple of areas. And one of those areas was emotional intelligence. And that's something I just recently learned through a mentor of mine. Like I was very bad, despite my inspiration and how inspiring and my energy and everything you think I am. On the outside, I wasn't good. I had a lot of things that I needed to work on still within myself. And one of them was emotional intelligence. And it's so important to be emotionally intelligent. And emotional intelligence was something I needed to work on. And what it is, and it's a new concept. We weren't very much aware of it back when I was growing up. It's kind of like if you're an adult, like get over it. Who cares if somebody hurts your feelings? But nowadays we recognize that you need to be with everything, and this is what emotional intelligence is with everything that you do, your words, your actions, your body language, your interactions with people, you always have to be aware of the effect you have on other people, how you make other people feel with everything that you do and every decision that you make. You have to be always cognizant on the effect it has on other people. And it will make you a better person. It'll make you choose your words wisely, make you take certain actions. It's just so important. One
Mm.
of the wealthiest men on earth, he listed it as probably the number one trait that is needed to be successful, emotional intelligence. And that is something I just recently learned. I thought I was on my way to being successful before I knew what it was. And then I learned it and realized I wasn't going to be as successful as I thought I was before I learned it, because it's so important. No
Yeah.
matter, like I said, I work with myself, by myself, for myself, but still, I need people to be successful. You always need somebody else. Even if you're working alone, I have to talk to people. I have to get people to want to listen to me. I have to get hired by people. There's certain, you always need emotional intelligence because you're always working with somebody else. You're always a part of a team, even when you're alone.
Yeah.
There's always a team.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, well, it's kind of linked to when we spoke earlier as well about the self-serving concept.
Mhm.
You know, I do feel that like if you feel that you're climbing to the top on your own, then you're either maybe not recognizing the others who've actually helped you get there, or
Exactly.
you need to actually reach out and get that, because you can go to amazing places, from
Yeah,
this
you'll go
other people.
higher if you actually reach out to somebody and try to go get there with them. Exactly. You're never alone
Never
unless you're
alone.
truly alone, and you never can be successful alone. It just
No.
can't happen. You
Yeah.
always need other people. There's always a team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's much more beautiful, and like,
Yes.
yeah, to just to have that the gratitude then for other people to get you there. There's so many people as part of everyone's journey, and it's important to recognize that, isn't it? It's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. Yes,
So,
ma'am.
yeah. So what, like, in the next part of your career now, you've written a book, you've done lots of amazing talks, and you work in leadership as well. What's your focus area going forward, or do you have any new goals or anything like that?
Yes, there's always needs to be a goal. Goals are so important because they push you. So, like I said, I still have a day job, a flexible day job in sales that I work and I speak. So I'm a speaker and a writer, and I still have my day job because it gives me the flexibility to pick and choose where I speak. I just don't have to fly any and everywhere just to give a speech. Like I can be selective and only go where I want to go. So I love it. And but my ultimate goal in life is I one day want to become an ambassador. And I want to become an ambassador. My father was from the Caribbean. I want to be the US ambassador to Barbados, my father's home country.
Wow.
That's my ultimate goal because I want to do my speaking. And then eventually in about 5, there's a bunch of tests and stuff you have to do, and you have to enter the foreign service and send your application to the State Department and all of that. So I'll start on that in
Wow.
the next 5 to 7 years, entering the foreign service. Because yeah, that's my ultimate goal. I want to be an ambassador. That's where I want to die. In my
Wow.
father's home country, and be buried in the so that yeah, you always need a goal in life, and I want to speak, but I'm also very active in civic affairs here in the United States. I was a commissioner for my city, a civil rights commissioner. I was a county chairman, a board of director for a couple of nonprofits. So I stay really involved in my community with civic engagement because I want that on my resume so I can then enter the foreign service, and I want to be an ambassador.
That's incredible. Wow. And your goals are so meaningful as well. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. Lovely.
Yes. And it
Yeah.
makes life beautiful. You can see
Yeah.
this is a far more fulfilling life than I ever would have had I just been okay. Man, my goal is to get the next corporate position that's going to pay me another $100,000 a year, and then be in that corporate rat race. Because once you're in it, you're stuck there, and you're working 80, 70 hours a week, and just always on your phone and constantly just climbing the corporate ladder, and just I can't even imagine having a life like that versus the life I'm having now.
Yeah. And the life you're living now is totally generated, like you've created it, and you're
Out of
thriving.
tragedy,
Yeah.
out of that, had I never had that car accident, I never would have learned emotional intelligence the way I did, and I never would have used it and used my journey to just inspire and help other people the way I'm doing.
That's amazing. That's
Mm-hmm.
really, really incredible. It's like such inspiring work to have gone through
Yes,
something like that.
it's been such a pleasure talking to you. I love
Yeah.
this. I
Yeah.
have loved.
I've really been enjoying it. You have amazing energy.
Oh, thank you. And it can even my energy goes over oceans because I'm in the
Yes.
United States right now and you're in Ireland. And it's transpiring through the Zoom camera.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That is the ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
You can feel it from the ocean, from across the ocean.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm delighted
Thank
now to be
you.
spreading this energy to everybody over here.
Thank you. Let me just yes, thank you. And if
Oh,
anybody ever wants to know more about me, like I said, I'm going to send you that podcast, the
excellent.
PDF of my book, and DanielleBrazant.com. So that's my name, www.daniellebrazantmyname.com. And there you can learn more about me, get a copy of my book, and just know everything you want to know if anybody wants to find out more.
Oh, fantastic.
And I
Thanks.
have a few of my speeches. Yes, I have a few of my speeches posted on my website as well.
Oh, great. That's good. Excellent. Cool. And I'll type them all into the description as well so people can click in and whatnot. So thank you so much, Danielle.
Yeah.
What a pleasure.
No problem. This has been wonderful.
Yeah, really wonderful. Thanks so much.
No
Yeah.
problem.